So I don't know if anybody could have guessed or figured out, but I'm a nerd. Now I know it may be hard to believe, but trust me, I'm a nerd, and that's okay. I've accepted that I am one, and I love being a nerd because hey, there's nothing wrong with being a nerd. And guess what? There's nothing wrong with you being a nerd too. Let me explain. Now, obviously, a nerd has always been perceived as an uncool outcast. You know, the weird little kid that no girl ever wanted to talk to, and the kid that every popular or cool kid would make fun of. That's what society has been feeding you, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that that is frankly a bunch of BS. Now I say that because they don't even know what a nerd actually is. A nerd is simply somebody that has a deep and passionate interest in a particular thing or multitude of things. In my case, being anything anime, superhero, animated, comic, or gaming related. Simply uttering the words I like anime or I read comics would basically be a death sentence to your social status, and for a long time I'd be embarrassed to be into this kind of stuff. Whenever I would meet new people, I would make sure not to mention anything anime or geeky related because I didn't want them to think that I was weird and not want to be around me. And with the friends that I had that weren't into all that stuff, I again tried not to mention any of it in front of them because I thought if I did, they wouldn't want to be friends with me. I won't lie, it sucked having to hide what you're really interested in just so that a bunch of random people will think that you're not lame. In my head, it was always just keep this image because nobody wants to hang out with the guy that still watches Dragon Ball and Naruto. And for a time, it worked. I met a bunch of people. They thought I was cool because I liked what they liked, which would be cars, music, sports, and all those other things. Now let me just say I do actually like those things. And I believe that these secret interests of mine should just stay that, a secret. But later on, I met people with the same interests as me and I became friends with them. And in an instant, it just felt right. It felt amazing being able to share our infatuation with these common interests without being ashamed about it. I didn't have to hide them behind closed doors. I could openly talk about it. Back then, my friends and I would even debate between which would be better between Dragon Ball and Naruto. I would always say DBZ because I hadn't even watched Naruto back then. We debate who'd win a fight between Batman and Superman or Goku versus Superman. But it was fun, just openly being geeks and talking about geeky things. Now as time went on, I began to notice these things around me. You had your car enthusiasts, bookworms, your sports lovers, and all these different kinds of groups. I noticed one very important thing that made me change the way I thought about all of this. These guys are nerds. Nerds by the definition of them having deep interests in certain things. If you ever had a car guy talk about their favorite car or a bookworm talk about their favorite book, you'd begin to notice that there's no difference between them and the anime guys that would talk about their top 10 favorite anime or whatever. It is everyone simply expressing their love and appreciation for the thing that they hold near and dear to them. Then I began to wonder, why is it that when people geek out on their interests, it is deemed normal and cool, but not the same for us stereotypical nerds? Now I'm not saying you were flat out bashed for liking these things. There was a limit. You could say, oh, I still watch Naruto, or I still like to watch Disney movies, things like that, because it was seen as just you having a little indulgence or something that you liked when you were a kid. And that was the problem right there, being perceived as childish. People today are so against and afraid of being perceived as a child. Everybody strives to be an adult and mature because that's cool in society's view. You will have teens and kids drop all their personality, drop all their former interests, just to look mature and grown up in the eyes of the world. Now don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be grown up. You gotta grow up at some point. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to explore new things. I'm just saying it's a problem when you have to toss your old interests that you still love and care for just so that you won't be seen as childish in front of people. And I think people tend to forget that you can have fun as a grown-up. Being an adult doesn't mean you have to get rid of everything colorful and joyful in your life. Getting older sucks, but having your favorite cartoon, anime, or superhero stuff and whatever else along the way helps the journey more fun. Look, all I'm trying to say is don't think too deeply about what the world thinks of you, especially when this is the same world that persecuted and crucified a perfect man. So flaunt your Pokemon card collection with confidence. Okay, hope you enjoyed today's video. This was kind of something I just wanted to get off my chest, you know. I've been a nerd for a long time and I've always just felt like nerds kind of just got the short end of the stick in terms of how we were seen in society's view. And I know that it's been changing as time has went on, but I feel like it's just important to reiterate that there's nothing wrong with liking these geeky or nerdy stuff, because at the end of the day, people have their own interests and you should always be comfortable to flaunt that no matter who's around. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, comment what you think. I'll see you next time.